Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome in, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binaries all around the world, wherever you are, either watching me live on Twitch or video replays on the YouTubes. Hello, I hope you're well. And if you are watching on YouTube and you do like the content of Take With Me, please give those videos a thumbs up. Right, good. There's a universal catchment for both Twitch and then YouTube later on. After Twitch's exclusivity for affiliates dies away. Good afternoon. I am fucking exhausted. Which is the best way I can describe things at the moment. Had a real weird Tuesday night into Wednesday, but bad night last night. I thought I'd go to bed a little bit earlier, but then woke up at 4 because my body went, "Oh, you've eaten something I don't like." And I go, "What? Why now?" And it's not now. So yeah, so I've had a couple of nights sleep. But you know what? We don't let that stop us, do we, really, here? Except for doing most things outside and, going everywhere that causes us to, use energy, because we have none at this moment in time. But on to today, on to the game that we have here, called Bohemian Killing. Quite like this music. If you've ever watched the Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Sherlock Holmes films, that music sounds a lot like it. So, press any key to continue. But what is Bohemian Killing? I guess we'll soon find out. What are the controls? Okay, so let us play the game and find out. New. Paris, 1894. You can skip dialogue by holding down E during your testimony. It'll skip to single dialogue line. Oh, yes. During cutscenes in the courtroom, it'll skip an entire scene and begin your next testimony. So, are we a lawyer?
She should be here by now.
Use T to check the time.
Bien. So let's get started.
Press 1 to draw your dagger. Use the book on the table, okay. Read a book! Is that me?
Monsieur Eaton.
Yes.
Monsieur Eaton.
What? Remember that during your testimony, you're not creating history, you're lying about what's already happened. A Bohemian killing. There are hundreds of possibilities. You can frame other people, lie, manipulate evidence and witnesses, plead guilty, or even act insane. Well, we done did it, didn't we?
Monsieur Eaton, I'm talking to you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Monsieur le Président, I was thinking. Do you understand the indictment? Sorry, but I have to ask the prosecutor to repeat. Monsieur Eaton, do you consider it to be a joke? You're charged with a serious crime. Please stay focused. Monsieur Prosecutor, please continue. As I said, I accuse Alfred Eaton of murdering Marie Capet on the 17th of October 1894 in Paris. That day, Alfred Eaton was at the theatrical premiere of Prométhée, Vol du Feu, which took place at Opéra Garnier. As it is apparent from the testimony of witnesses, the accused left at about 8:30 p.m., before the end of the banquet. At about 9:25 p.m., he rented a room in his name at the Caucasus Hotel, which is adjacent to the building in which he lives. It was in that room that approximately at 11:16 p.m., Marie Capet was murdered. Next, the accused returned to his house, and at about 10:05 p.m., he entered his apartment in the company of Marie Capet, or let her in. It results from the fingerprint analysis. It did not show the victim's fingerprints on the outer side of the door, only on the inner. Alfred Eaton, by means of deception or threats, led the victim to his secret workshop, which is located on the first floor of his apartment. The police report did not indicate any signs of struggle or resistance. The accused probably wanted to test on Marie Capet the prototype of a torture machine of his construction,
Damn it.
which was in the room along with medical tools and manuals of torture.
We sound like a right dick.
When Marie Capet realized what the accused intended to do, she grabbed a metal rod lying in the room and hit the accused on the head, which caused a real threat to his life and, according to doctors, may have caused unconsciousness. The fingerprints of Marie Capet's left hand were found on the rod, as well as Alfred Eaton's traces of blood. Traces of blood were also found on the floor of that room. At the time of his arrest, the accused had an extensive wound on his head, as confirmed by medical examination. Seizing the opportunity, Marie Capet fled from the apartment. She was stressed and in a hurry. This was confirmed by her numerous fingerprints secured on the inside of the door of the apartment of the accused.
Well, did it though, didn't I?
Marie Capet ran into a nearby hotel, the Caucasus. It was the same hotel in which the accused rented a room. As it appears from the testimony of the clerk, Marie Capet was extremely stressed, repeating the word doctor and police. Probably she wanted to call for help. When the clerk went to get some water to calm Marie Capet, she disappeared. The next day, on the 18th of October, about 8:32 a.m., a maid found her body in a room rented by Alfred Eaton. It was covered with numerous fingerprints of the victim and of the accused, and had traces of the victim's blood. The immediate cause of death was a severe blow to the abdomen in the liver area, with a blade of about 14 centimeters length. The murder weapon, constructed by the accused, was secured in his apartment. Marie Capet's unwashed blood stains were still present on it, as well as the fingerprints of the accused. The accused is also charged by the testimony of one of the neighbors, who passed the accused at the front door of the building in which they both lived at about 11:30 p.m. The witness testified that the clothing of the accused was stained with blood. Unfortunately, the said clothes were not found. At the time of committing the alleged crime, the accused was sane, which means he acted consciously. For committed crimes, the accused shall be liable to life imprisonment or the death penalty.
It doesn't look good, does it?
Has the accused finally understood the indictment?
Yes, I
Oui,
have.
Monsieur le Président. Does the accused plead guilty to the charges against him? Non, Monsieur le Président.
Yes, I do.
Does the accused want to provide explanations? Oui, Monsieur le Président.
No.
Monsieur le Président, could I ask you for some conversation time with my client?
Of course. I just wish it would not take too much time. We've
I want to
already
plead guilty, I
wasted
did
too
it.
much of it.
Monsieur Eaton, please note that you can look through evidence at any moment. It is available by pressing tab. I will show the defense evidence to the court at the time of your uncovering during the testimony. It might surprise the prosecutor. If necessary, you can recall the string of events according to the prosecution by pressing the Q key. Will you need my help during testimony? I will give you my advice and remind you of important facts and events.
No.
We are ready, Monsieur le Président.
Then let's get started. Monsieur Eaton, what were you doing
I want to plead
on
guilty to this. I'm a horrible man.
1894, from 8 to 12 p.m.?
There was a theatrical premiere of Prométhée that day, which was
You
sponsored by
that
Le
game
Feu,
you
in
said
which I am the lead
I could
designer.
plead guilty.
Starting at 7 p.m., I was at the premiere at the Opéra Garnier. Around 8:30 p.m., after the play, I found that I did not want to attend the dull banquet, and instead I preferred to work. I said goodbye to Hugo Argent,
It's one of the
president
easiest
Le
games
Feu,
I'll ever play, though.
and I drove home. I got there at about 9 p.m. I decided to go for an evening walk.
An evening walk, okay. Let me plead guilty, you bastard.
I do not recall that now.
It won't let me plead guilty.
I entered the Café de Paris cafeteria. I wanted to drink some good wine and eat a piece of cheese.
A
group of
piece, not
Parisian
more than
crowd
one,
tried
a
to
piece.
throw me out, screaming that there was no room for gypsy thieves. They beat me and threw me into the street. I was all covered in blood.
Did you report this fact to police officers?
No, Monsieur le Président. I decided that it was not worth losing my time.
And why is that?
A second of my work is more important than the lifetime of each and every one of those plebeians. Besides, if I had reported it, I would have done them a favor.
What do you mean, Monsieur Eaton?
In jail, they would have had better living conditions than those holes that they call houses.
The judge will remember this.
Please return to your testimony.
But so I got to the car.
Later, I wanted to start the car and go for a ride, but it ran out of fuel. From l'Opéra Garnier, I already returned on fumes, so... I opened the gate.
I looked inside.
I entered the nearby hotel, Caucasus.
Okay. Well, so far, not thinking too much of this. Apart from the guy I'm playing is an utter shit. There's no innocence here.
Next, I threw a few francs to the fountain in the hotel.
Frank Spencer was one of them.
Apparently, the clerk noticed my state, but the rules of savoir-vivre did not let him make any commentary. I wanted to rent a room in a hotel, but the clerk said that a room had already been rented in my name. He said it's on the top floor and gave me a spare key. I must add that the conversation with this man was not held at about 9:25 p.m., as according to his testimony, but at a different time.
Monsieur Eaton, do you claim that you did not rent that room?
Oui, Monsieur le Président, but I knew it could not be a coincidence. The name Ethan is not that common.
So you tried to learn more from the clerk?
Yes, however, he hid behind his professional secrecy. I knew he wouldn't tell me a thing.
I do not understand one more thing.
Wait a minute.
You live next to the hotel, so why did you want to rent a room there?
Sometimes I meet up with some girls of the Moulin Rouge, and due to my reputation, I prefer not to do it in my apartment.
Now, wait a
Did you
minute.
meet Marie Capet face to face?
No, Monsieur le Président, never.
Bullshit.
I understand. Please continue.
Now, wait a minute, right? Wait a minute. Why is it the judge that's cross-examining me? Surely it's the prosecution that should be cross-referencing me.
Then I opened the elevator grate.
Now, it's an elevator, all right.
I took the elevator to the second floor. I opened the elevator grate.
The elevator, it wasn't too bad.
I examined the historic tableware.
Now the music sounds like it should be in Deal or No Deal when the bank is called. Excuse me, dear. Oh yeah, good point. It's common sense though,
Then
surely.
I read cultural announcements. For a moment, I admired the paintings of Paris.
Is that what you called them?
Then I opened the door.
You opened the door.
I glanced at the painting, imitating early Monet.
I mean, it's so irritating. You got two on each side.
Then I looked at the paintings a la early Monet.
Le Monet. Oh, René.
I glanced at the painting, imitating early Monet. I tried the door handle to the hotel room, but it was closed.
Why did you want to open that door?
I'm ashamed to admit, but I forgot which room I had rented.
I understand. Please continue your testimony.
I understand.
I tried the door handle to the hotel room, but it was closed.
Why did you want to open that door?
He just said the same thing.
I'm ashamed to admit, but I forgot which room I had rented.
I understand. Please continue your testimony.
So if you did the same thing, he would say the same thing. And the judge is just
I
like,
opened the door
yeah,
and
that's
entered the
fine.
room. Later, I tasted some champagne from the ice bucket.
Van as baguette. Not as
I
baguette.
read cultural announcements. Then I left the room into the corridor.
Wait a minute, where's the bath then? Oh,
I
okay.
opened the door and entered the room.
Now wait a minute. It said I could.
I took a bath, washing away any traces of blood. I was tired after the banquet, so I immediately went to sleep. I was even too tired to undress.
Is it all you want to testify, Monsieur Eaton?
Yes, it is.
Oui, Monsieur le Président.
And so I close the hearing. It is time to present your positions.
Not in a court of law. I'd be at rest. Oh wait.
Monsieur le Président, the accused tried to trick himself off the responsibility. He used cunning rhetoric, trying to hide more and more of his new lies. However, in view of the evidence presented by the prosecutor, I have no doubt that Alfred Eaton, defendant who appeared today before the court, murdered Marie Capet in cold blood.
He did.
Please, let the High Court not be deceived by his tearful stories about a poor gypsy from the country who gained his success with hard work, and which Marie Capet so cleverly tried to destroy. It was the accused who destroyed the life of a poor girl and her family with full premeditation. And what did that poor girl do to deserve such cruel fate? She was searching for a better life, and was employed as a maid in the same building in which a dangerous psychopath lived. According to the prosecution, the accused is guilty.
Bang to rights.
Therefore, I apply for recognition of Alfred Eaton, defendant who appeared today before the court, guilty of all charges against him, and for imposition of the death penalty by beheading on the guillotine. Thank you. Monsieur le Président, Monsieur Prosecutor used a lot of high-flown words. However, during the preparation of indictment, he made many mistakes. As to the hotel room, my client had rented the room in the Caucasus Hotel on the night of the murder. However, as he testified, he had planned a meeting with a prostitute, not to murder Marie Capet. As to the alleged attempt to use the torture device on the victim, my client did not intend to use his interrogation device, which the prosecutor describes as a torture machine, neither on Marie Capet nor on anyone else. It is important to emphasize the relationship of Marie Capet and my client. According to the testimony of the victim's parents, she felt a deep resentment and contempt, both for my customer and for his work and success. As to the meeting with Marie Capet in his apartment, my client has never met with Marie Capet in his apartment. We do not know where Madame Capet's fingerprints inside of that apartment came from.
Good Lord. How are you anyway?
As for Alfred Eaton's weapon, please note, Monsieur le Président, that my client testified that he had not had the murder weapon on himself. The knife was in his secret workshop all that time. Everyone could have stolen it and then dropped it off.
Bullshit. That's rubbish.
As for the murder, as my client testified, he did not kill Marie Capet. So, who did? As for the testimony of the neighbor who saw Alfred Eaton entering the building covered in blood,
There was no neighbour there, to be fair.
according to my client's testimony, that meeting had never taken place. So the witness made a false testimony. Taking into account the evidence from the neighbor's opinions, the witness might have had a motive, an aversion towards my client, and racial prejudice.
Wait,
Thank you, Mr.
don't
President.
bring the race card into it.
Cher fils, your father and I are quite sure that you did not do it.
We did.
You couldn't have. We love you, and we are waiting for you at home. Please, leave this cursed Paris and return to your home parts. Mama et Papa.
But we did do it.
P.S. Papa asks you not to mention the hotel guest book. Apparently you know what that means. Cher fils, your father and I are quite sure that you did not do it. You couldn't have. Cher fils, your father and I are praying for you, and we believe that the court will be merciful.
Bullshit.
Maman et Papa. Postscriptum. Papa is sorry that it did not work as he had planned.
Anonymous letter. Letter from...
You gypsy scum. You can be sure that you will take responsibility for what you have done to our daughter.
I mean, we did kill her.
You will be beheaded. And even neither your millions nor your connections will be able to help you. Is the stolen money not enough? Is your wrongdoing to all these poor people not enough? You had to tear everything away from us, including our only daughter. Death to the rich. Vive la nouvelle révolution.
Right, what are they doing now? That's,
Mon
that
cher
Jinxie's been on about.
I am in a deep regret that you had to stand before the court accused of such a terrible deed.
But we did it.
I assure you that I deeply believe in your innocence and will do my best so that you can continue to work for the glory of Le Feu and toute la France. Cordialement, Hugo Argent. Monsieur Etten,
Very probably,
the
since
French
the
Gypsy Association wishes to send you support
localization.
and condolences for the persecution caused by your gypsy origin. We are aware that it was the main cause of your indictment. We offer you a safe haven if you decide to leave the prison in less official way. One of our persecuted members, who had also been imprisoned in the prison de la Santé, mentions the decayed walls in most of the cells. Maybe you could use this information. Signed, X.
Yeah. We done did it. We done did it, you know.
Monsieur Eaton, please hurry. The court is ready to announce the verdict. The verdict on behalf of the République Française. The court, as present, hereby finds that Alfred Eaton, accused of murdering Marie Capet, is guilty of the charges against him, and sentences the accused to the death penalty by beheading on the guillotine.
I
The
mean,
execution
it's a fair
will be
cop.
done in Prison de la Santé the next day.
It's a fair cop, Your Honour. Fart on them. Unlocked evidence to defence. Judge confidence gained. Obvious lie uncovered by the court. Discovered game ending. So that's a game ending. And to be honest, if this is the game, I'm happy to have this one. I'm happy to have that. It's just a one and done. One of 9 endings. Nah, I'm fine. I am absolutely fine with that being one. Ba-ba-da-ba-dum. I do like the music though. You'll allow it. Hell yeah, we got an ending. Wasn't a great game, to be fair. Fin. Wasn't a great game, to be fair. Right, okay. I got an achievement unlocked for that. Death! Well, that's game 48 done of the year, I think. Well, it's only been half hour. Should we change games? Yeah, I think we're going to change games. I'm just putting that as a marker there. I am going to load up my Twitch and change the actual part here to, I believe, load up my Twitch and change the actual part here. 69 out of 10. Nice. A game called Bomb Defense, which I might enjoy, I might not. If that's the case and we don't enjoy it, then tonight will be another new game. Games what not to play. Well, you know, if we don't go through them with the backlog, we don't know what they're going to be like, do we, really? So,